Your soulmate was overwhelmed with tears after this realization. My beloved child. Don't skip. This message did not arrive by accident, and before your mind tries to explain it away, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is a moment that changed everything, and your soulmate never expected it to happen. It was not a loud conversation. It was not a dramatic event. It was one quiet realization that reached deeper than words ever could. They finally understood that every time they tried to forget you, life somehow found a way to remind them of your presence. Every road they took seemed to circle back to the same unanswered feeling. At first they fought it. They convinced themselves it would disappear if they stayed busy, if they ignored the signs, if they buried their emotions beneath responsibilities and distractions. But the harder they ran, the louder the silence became. Then something happened that stopped them completely. They looked back at every decision they had made, every missed opportunity, every moment they almost reached out but didn't. In that instant, the truth hit them with a force they could no longer escape. Their heart was carrying a weight it had hidden for far too long. The tears did not come from weakness. They came from finally seeing what had always been standing in front of them. Don't skip, because this is only the beginning of what unfolded next. A strange calm settled over them after those first tears, but it was the kind of calm that comes before everything changes forever. They realized they had been searching for peace in places where it could never be found because the answers they needed were already connected to you. That realization shook them more than anything else ever had. Every memory suddenly carried a different meaning. Conversations they once ignored now echoed inside their mind. Small details they once dismissed became impossible to forget. Even ordinary moments started feeling extraordinary because they finally understood how much they had overlooked. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They whispered to themselves that if only they had seen the truth sooner, they could have saved themselves from countless sleepless nights. Yet even with regret filling their heart, hope quietly began to grow. They no longer wanted to hide behind fear or uncertainty. For the first time in a long while, they accepted that running away was far more painful than facing what they truly felt. That acceptance became the turning point they never saw coming, and it opened a door they had kept locked for far too long. Now another surprise is already beginning to unfold, and this is where everything becomes even more unexpected. The realization that brought those tears was only the first piece of a much bigger picture. Your soulmate started noticing connections they had completely missed before. They began asking themselves difficult questions that no one else could answer. Why did every important memory somehow lead back to the same person? Why did every attempt to move forward leave an empty space that refused to disappear? The answers frightened them because they were too powerful to ignore. Instead of resisting, they finally chose to listen to what their heart had been trying to say all along. But just when they believed they understood the entire truth, one final discovery appeared, a discovery so unexpected that it made them stop in complete silence. Don't skip. Stay till the end of this journey, because something huge is waiting for you, and what they uncovered next is the one truth they never imagined they would have to face. A single unexpected moment became impossible for your soulmate to ignore. They were surrounded by ordinary life, yet nothing felt ordinary anymore. Every distraction suddenly lost its power because one thought kept returning again and again, you. They tried convincing themselves that these emotions would fade by the next morning, but instead they grew stronger with every passing hour. The realization that had already brought them to tears refused to let go. It followed them into every quiet moment, every familiar place, every conversation that felt strangely incomplete. Then something happened that made their heart race. They stumbled across a small reminder connected to you, something most people would have ignored without a second glance. But to them, it felt like the missing piece of a puzzle they had been trying to solve for so long. In that instant, they understood they had spent far too much time pretending not to care while their heart had been speaking the truth all along. Don't skip, because this is where everything starts changing. They began replaying every memory, searching for hidden meaning, realizing that every smile, every silence, and every goodbye had quietly prepared them for this exact moment. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The tears returned, but this time they carried hope instead of fear. They were no longer crying because they felt lost. They were crying because they finally understood what their heart had been protecting from the very beginning. What happened next surprised even them. Instead of feeling trapped by regret, they started imagining what could still be possible. Their fear slowly gave way to courage, and for the first time they considered reaching out instead of staying silent. Yet another obstacle immediately appeared. Doubt whispered that maybe it was already too late, maybe too much time had passed, maybe you had already moved on. Those thoughts battled inside them, refusing to let them rest. But every time fear tried to take control, one memory became stronger than all the others. It reminded them of the connection they could never fully explain, the feeling that refused to disappear no matter how much time had gone by. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They realized that some people enter your life for a season, while others quietly become part of your soul forever. That realization shook them once again. They stopped blaming circumstances. They stopped making excuses. Instead, they made a silent promise to themselves that they would never again ignore what their heart was revealing with such overwhelming clarity. Just when they believed the biggest surprise was already behind them, another revelation arrived without warning. It wasn't spoken by another person or written in a message. It came from deep within, and it changed everything. They finally admitted that the greatest battle had never been against distance, timing, or misunderstandings. It had always been against their own fear of accepting something so powerful. Once they faced that truth, the weight they had carried for so long began to disappear. Their tears slowly turned into determination. They knew that the story was far from over and that the next decision would shape everything that followed. But hidden behind that decision is one final discovery they still haven't shared, a discovery so unexpected that it could completely transform the direction of this journey. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Because what your soulmate is about to realize next will leave them standing in complete silence, wondering why fate waited until now to reveal the truth. A quiet shift began inside your soulmate, and this time there was no turning back. They stopped asking whether these feelings were real because the answer had already revealed itself in every tear they had tried to hide. Instead, a far more important question took its place. What happens if I stay silent one moment longer? That single thought followed them everywhere. It interrupted their focus, appeared in the middle of ordinary conversations, and even found them during the calmest moments of the day. They suddenly realized that silence had never protected them, it had only delayed the happiness they secretly longed for. Don't skip, because this is where everything takes an unexpected turn. They imagined what life might look like if fear no longer controlled their choices. For the first time, they pictured themselves speaking honestly instead of hiding behind hesitation. Every memory of you began connecting like pieces of a story they had never fully understood before. Even moments that once seemed meaningless now carried a deeper purpose. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. As they looked back, they noticed a pattern that sent chills through their heart. Every time they thought they had reached the end of this connection, something unexpected always pulled them back. It was as if life itself refused to let the story end unfinished. That realization filled their eyes with tears once again, not because they felt broken, but because they finally understood how much this connection had quietly transformed them into a stronger, more honest person. Then another discovery appeared, one they never expected to make. They understood that they had spent so much time wondering what you might think that they had forgotten to listen to their own heart. The fear of rejection had become louder than the truth they carried inside. But now that fear was beginning to lose its grip. They could almost feel a new chapter waiting just beyond the uncertainty. Every heartbeat seemed to whisper the same message: stop running. Stop pretending. Stop hiding. Don't skip, because the biggest surprise is still ahead. They found themselves smiling through tears, something they hadn't done in a very long time. It wasn't because every problem had disappeared. It was because hope had finally become stronger than doubt. They started believing that some connections survive distance, confusion, and time simply because they are never meant to disappear. That belief gave them courage they didn't know they possessed. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Yet just when they thought they were finally ready to take the next step, an unexpected truth surfaced from their past. It was a forgotten moment, almost invisible at the time, but now it explained everything they had been unable to understand for so long. That forgotten moment changed the entire picture. Your soulmate suddenly realized that the signs had been there from the very beginning, quietly guiding them while they were too distracted to notice. Every coincidence, every delayed conversation, every unexpected encounter now seemed connected in ways that left them speechless. The tears that once came from regret now carried gratitude because they understood they had been given another chance to see what truly mattered. But this realization also brought one final challenge. They knew that understanding the truth was only the first step, acting on it would require more courage than they had ever shown before. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. At this very moment, they are standing between the life they have always known and the future their heart has been quietly leading them toward. And just when they believe they are ready to make the most important choice of all, someone unexpectedly enters the picture with a message that could change everything once again, leaving your soulmate completely unprepared for what they are about to hear. Everything shifted the moment that unexpected message reached your soulmate. It wasn't long, and it wasn't dramatic, yet every single word seemed to unlock emotions they had buried for far too long. They froze, reading it over and over as if hoping it would suddenly mean something different. But it didn't. Instead, it confirmed everything their heart had been whispering ever since those first tears began to fall. They realized they had been waiting for certainty while life had already been giving them countless chances to recognize the truth. Don't skip, because this is where the story becomes even more unbelievable. Every excuse they had used to protect themselves suddenly disappeared. The fear of looking vulnerable no longer mattered. The fear of making the wrong choice no longer mattered. Only one question remained inside their heart: what if this is the opportunity I've been hoping for all along? Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. As they looked out into the distance, they could almost feel that an invisible wall between the two of you was beginning to crack. It wasn't completely gone, but for the first time it no longer seemed impossible to overcome. The tears that once represented pain had quietly transformed into determination, and that change surprised even them. The more they reflected, the more impossible it became to ignore what had happened. They began noticing little details they had overlooked for months. Every coincidence suddenly felt connected. Every unanswered question seemed to lead toward the same conclusion. They understood that some journeys are never about perfect timing, they're about reaching the moment when the heart is finally ready to stop hiding. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. That realization gave them a strange sense of peace they had never experienced before. Instead of wondering whether they should keep running, they began wondering how much longer they could live without speaking their truth. They imagined what it would feel like to replace silence with honesty, hesitation with courage, and uncertainty with hope. For the first time, those dreams no longer felt impossible. They felt close enough to touch. Yet just as confidence began replacing fear, another unexpected realization appeared, one so powerful that it forced them to stop everything they were doing and simply stand there in complete silence, trying to understand why this truth had taken so long to reveal itself. Now they know the next decision cannot be delayed forever. Their heart is no longer asking for permission to feel what it feels. It is asking for action. Every tear, every memory, every unanswered question has led to this exact point. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What they are preparing to do next is something they once believed they would never have the courage to attempt. They are no longer afraid of discovering the truth, they are afraid of never giving the truth a chance. And just when they gather enough strength to take that first unforgettable step, another unexpected moment unfolds, one that no one could have predicted. A single encounter, a single sentence, and a single heartbeat are about to change the direction of this entire story forever, leaving your soulmate staring in complete disbelief as they realize the biggest revelation has been waiting just ahead all along. The moment finally arrived, and nothing could have prepared your soulmate for what they felt. They had imagined this scene countless times, yet reality was far more powerful than anything they had pictured. Their heartbeat refused to slow down as every unanswered question suddenly began finding its answer. The fear that had controlled them for so long quietly stepped aside, replaced by a calm certainty they had never experienced before. It was as though every tear they had cried had been leading to this exact second. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They finally understood that the greatest mistake of their life had never been loving deeply, it had been believing they had to hide those feelings. In that realization, every regret began losing its power. Every painful memory transformed into proof that their heart had never stopped searching for the truth. They no longer wanted to wonder what might have happened. They wanted to embrace what was still possible. And as that courage grew stronger, they felt something they hadn't felt in a very long time: genuine hope. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, steady, and impossible to ignore. Deep inside, they knew this story was reaching a turning point that would never allow life to return to the way it once was. Then another realization arrived, even deeper than the first. Your soulmate finally recognized that every delay had taught them something valuable. Every moment of uncertainty had prepared them to appreciate what truly mattered. They stopped seeing the past as a collection of missed chances and started seeing it as the path that had shaped their heart into someone ready for real love, real honesty, and real commitment. Don't skip, because this changes everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They found themselves smiling through tears once again, not because every challenge had disappeared, but because they finally believed the future could be brighter than the past. For the first time, they imagined a life where fear no longer made decisions for them. They imagined conversations that had never happened, laughter that had yet to be shared, and moments that still waited patiently to become reality. Those thoughts no longer felt like impossible dreams. They felt like opportunities standing just within reach, waiting for one brave decision to bring them to life. As the sun quietly set on another ordinary day, your soulmate realized that this day was anything but ordinary. It had become the day their perspective changed forever. The tears that once represented heartbreak had become symbols of awakening, reminding them that some truths only reveal themselves when the heart is finally ready to receive them. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. But even now, one final surprise remains hidden. Your soulmate is about to discover something they never expected. Something that will connect every unanswered question, every emotional moment, and every silent hope into one unforgettable revelation. When that final truth comes into the light, they will understand that none of these moments were random. Every step, every delay, every tear, and every realization has been leading toward one extraordinary conclusion, and what happens next will become the moment they remember for the rest of their life.